As Wicca has progressed throughout the decades, a lot of New Age thought has entered into Wicca, and also a lot of witches and Wiccans and pagans have also ventured into the many beliefs and practices of the New Age. And one of those is the Akashic Records. In this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about them and also where they kind of originated in the New Age movement and in Western culture. But before I dive into that, hi, I'm Sandra from MysteryWitchSchool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to know more about Wicca and witchcraft, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. Now, I don't talk a lot about the Akashic Records, and I don't really teach much in regards to the Akashic Records because it's even though it's something that I have been aware of, it's never been a term that I've used. The Akasha is a Sanskrit word, and some people say that it means astral light. Other people say that essentially what the Akasha is the fifth element. So where we've got the four elements of earth, air, water and fire, the fifth element, which would be the tip of the pentagram if you're looking at putting the elements onto a pentagram, is the Akasha. So it is an element as such, and it's an ethereal element. So it's more like the ether essentially, and it's contained in all things. It's part of everything that manifests, the same as the four elements are part of the manifest, and the four elements are also made up of the Akasha as well. So it's been defined as an ethereal fluid occupying space. Now, some people will say that it is space, but that's not really correct, because space in itself is empty, whereas the Akasha is very full. So it's not an empty thing, it is a dimensional aspect that is, it has dimension to it, the same as the four elements do. Now, when it came into Western thought, was with a man called Henry Thomas Colebrook. And this was back in the early 1830s, or the late 1830s, that he brought all of this information from the yogis from the East. And that was his definition, that it was an ethereal fluid occupying space. Then somewhere along the line, when Madame Blavatsky came upon it, which she says she learnt from 19th century Tibetan monks, or the Mahatmas, it kind of started to turn into something that had records, or associated with records. And this was further brought into Western consciousness in 1938 by a man called Franz Werfel, who said it was the universal mind projecting memories into the present. And that's where we first come across the term Akashic Records in Western consciousness anyway. Somehow it went from just being the Akasha, which is the fifth element, to somehow being Akashic Records. And nowadays it is believed that it is like a energetic record keeping system that records absolutely everything that has ever happened in the manifest world, thoughts, ideas, actions happening in the past, happening now, or will happen. Because time doesn't actually exist, and if you're looking at it from a quantum mechanics point of view, there's all of these parallel happenings or parallel universes where any possibility from one action or outcome or thought can have many different outcomes. So the idea is that the Akasha contains all of these possible outcomes. So a lot of people in the New Age movement will do what's called an Akashic reading and connect to the Akashic Records in order to be able to determine where something may happen in the future. They also use these records to understand more about their own life path, and some people will do Akashic readings where they will help you understand why you came here and what it is you're doing here and what it is that you may have come to even learn, what your lessons are. A lot of people talk about the Akashic Records and how that they can help you determine the future. It could be what you are tapping into when you do divination. It's believed that the Akashic Records are attached also to spirit guides who will access those records for you. So often people will work with a guide in order to obtain the information. The thing, of course, with the future is that it's not determined. And so any type of divination, whether it's diving into these Akashic Records or whether it's doing tarot, there may be more likely outcomes, of course, but there's also the possibility of many, many infinite number of outcomes. So they're never really determined because you've always got the free will to be able to change your direction or change the way you're thinking in order to change your behavior. Now, generally speaking, that doesn't happen. Generally, each action kind of has a predictable outcome in many ways, but that's only because we're not conscious of what we're doing or conscious of our actions most of the time. But the more conscious we become and the more connected that we become to who we really are and to our life path, the more we can have more control over our decision making and to be able to then maybe access the wisdom of divination or the Akashic Records in order to be able to be more conscious about our decision making process in the present, so that our future can be more of what we actually want. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, I don't really get too much into the Akashic Records. It's probably because it's got such a strong link to Blavatsky and the New Age movement. I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying I've never really connected to that way of thinking and being for myself. However, that's not to say that it isn't something that other people don't connect with. I was asked to do a video about the Akashic Records. I have posted bits and pieces of information about the Akashic Records on my Facebook page. There is a storehouse of every thought and deed out there. And if they're all happening simultaneously, because there is no such thing as time, then when we can tune into these, whether we call them Akashic Records or whatever we call them, we can tune into this through our divination, through meditation, and that's what we're doing when we're creating magic, when we're using magic. We are attempting to manipulate the possible outcomes more towards our favor. So food for thought. Do more research on it if you want to know more about the Akashic Records. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to know more about the Mystery Witch School, or if you want to join the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy, the link to that is in the description field below this video, as are links to a number of different free material that I have and other things as well. So blessed be.